Hello and welcome, everyone. Today, we've got something truly special for you. A Halloween exclusive straight from the darker corners of the Marvel Universe, where love, loss, and dark magic collide in the shadowy streets of New York. But before we dive in, if you love dark heroes, powerful stories, and Halloween vibes, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss any of our spooky uploads coming your way. All right, let's get started. Hallows Eve. Volume 1. Janine Godbe, once known as Elizabeth Tyne, was a troubled young woman who fell in love with Ben Reilly, the clone of Spider-Man. Both were fugitives searching for redemption. When Ben became the official Spider-Man for the Beyond Corporation, Janine was released from prison and the two finally found peace. But it didn't last. Beyond's director, Maxine Danger, secretly erased Ben's memories to control him, turning him into the unstable villain chasm. Heartbroken and on the run again, Janine discovered a mysterious bag of magical Halloween masks during the Limbo invasion of New York. Each mask grants her unique powers, allowing her to transform into supernatural beings. Now, she fights back under a new name, Hallows Eve, a woman reborn through magic, pain, and vengeance. In the aftermath, Ben was left trapped in limbo as the shattered, dangerous chasm with his memories gone, while Janine escaped to the streets of New York, keeping the masks and resolving to forge her own path, haunted by love for Ben, but determined to find closure and survive. On a cold autumn day, Janine Godbe, her short orange hair brushing against her coat collar, walked among the crowds of New York City. The air was sharp, the streets buzzing with life, until she suddenly saw her own image flash across the giant monitors above Times Square. Her heart dropped. Her face was plastered on every screen, labeled "Wanted for Murder." Panic surged through her veins. She ducked into a narrow, deserted side street, away from the staring eyes of the city. From her worn leather bag, she pulled out the model mask, one of her magical disguises capable of changing her face entirely. Pressing it to her skin, she transformed into a young blonde woman, unrecognizable to anyone who might be watching. Janine needed a new life, and for that, she needed money. Walking calmly now, she blended into the crowd and made her way to a nearby bank. She entered without drawing attention and slipped quietly into the bathroom. From her bag, she drew another mask, the ghost mask, a haunting creation that allowed her to become intangible, to walk through walls and vanish from sight. She put it on, her body shimmering into transparency, and drifted through the solid walls, straight into the bank's vault. Inside, stacks of glittering valuables surrounded her, jewels, gold, and bonds worth millions. But Janine didn't care for treasures. She wanted cash, clean, usable, untraceable cash. Her eyes gleamed when she reached the storage room stacked with bundles of bills worth hundreds of millions. Excitement rushed through her veins, but when she reached out, her ghostly hands passed straight through the piles of money. To grab it, she would have to remove the mask. Reluctantly, Janine pulled the ghost mask from her face, and in that instant, the security cameras caught her image. Alarms blared through the building. Frantically, Janine stuffed as much money into her bag as she could when a sharp voice froze her in place. "Freeze!" She spun around to see a security guard aiming his gun directly at her. "Don't move!" he barked, fear and adrenaline mixing in his voice. Janine smiled, calm despite the sirens screaming around them. Slowly, she reached into her bag. "I told you not to move!" the guard shouted again, tightening his grip on the weapon. "Yeah," Janine said softly, a dangerous glint in her eye. "But I have to go." In one swift motion, She pulled out another mask, the werewolf mask, and pressed it to her face. Her body convulsed and shifted, muscles expanding, claws tearing through her gloves, teeth elongating into fangs. The guard's eyes widened in terror as she transformed before him. "No! What is this?" he screamed, firing his gun wildly. Janine, now the beast, dodged the bullets with supernatural speed. She lunged forward, grabbed his arm, and the gun clattered to the floor. With a growl that shook the walls, she slammed the guard into the concrete, pinning him there. For a moment, it seemed she might tear him apart. But instead, she stopped, meeting his terrified eyes. Without a word, she released him, letting him slump to the ground as she turned and sprinted into the night. A little later, inside the 5th Precinct station house, Detective Sebbins sat at his cluttered desk, half buried under stacks of case files. The hum of the city outside was muffled by the constant buzz of ringing phones and the chatter of officers moving about. Suddenly, the phone on his desk rang sharply, cutting through the noise. Sebbins picked it up with a sigh. "Yeah, what happened?" he asked, his tone weary but alert. The voice on the other end spoke quickly, and Sebbins' expression shifted from casual to stunned disbelief. "A bank robbery by a... what? A werewolf?" He stood up so suddenly that his chair rolled back into the wall. "Wait, I'm on my way." Without wasting another second, he grabbed his coat and badge and rushed out the door, already bracing himself for a night that was about to get a lot stranger. Meanwhile, at the towering glass headquarters of the Beyond Corporation, Maxine Danger, the ruthless head of the company's superhero division, strode through the sterile metallic halls. Her heels echoed as she entered the massive control room, a futuristic chamber lined with hundreds of glowing monitors, each one displaying surveillance feeds, data streams, and thermal scans of potential superpowered anomalies across the city. Researchers and analysts worked feverishly at their stations, the air thick with tension. Maxine approached the supervisor's desk, her sharp red hair catching the monitor light. "What's going on?" she demanded. "Why did you call me here?" The supervisor, visibly nervous, adjusted his glasses. "We found something that might interest you, ma'am." With a shaky hand, he tapped a few keys, and one of the main screens flickered to life, showing a grainy security video from the bank. The footage revealed a monstrous figure bursting out through the vault doors, a werewolf, snarling and feral, sprinting into the night. Maxine leaned forward, narrowing her eyes. "Didn't you notice what that thing is? A mutant? Or just some lunatic in a costume?" The supervisor swallowed hard. "We don't have confirmation yet." Maxine straightened, her face unreadable but her tone icy and commanding. "Fine. I'll investigate this one myself." She turned to her team. "Suit up! We're heading out within moments." The Beyond Task Unit was in motion, Maxine leading them into the night to uncover the truth behind the mysterious werewolf thief. High above the chaos of the city, Janine Godbe climbed the skeletal framework of an unfinished skyscraper. The wind howled around her, tugging at her coat as she made her way to her hidden refuge, a small hideout she'd built atop the deserted structure. Once inside, she pulled off the werewolf mask, her breathing ragged, her body slowly returning to its human form. She dropped onto a worn couch, exhaustion washing over her. Reaching into her pocket, Janine took out her phone and opened a photo. An old picture of her and Ben Riley smiling together, their faces full of warmth and hope. A small, pained smile crossed her lips. Memories flooded back, the laughter, the promises, the love they fought so hard to protect. But that part of her life was gone now, burned away by betrayal and loss. Still, deep inside, she felt a flicker of something, maybe longing, maybe guilt. But above all, a fierce determination. Janine Godbe was done running. It was time to begin a new chapter. A little later, Detective Sebbins arrived at the bank. The flashing red and blue lights painted the marble walls as police cordoned off the area. Inside the vault, the investigation team moved carefully, marking evidence and photographing claw marks gouged deep into the steel doors. Sebbins stepped closer, scanning the scene, his trained eyes taking in every detail. He noticed paramedics pushing a stretcher toward the exit, the wounded bank guard lying pale and trembling. Sebbin hurried over. "Sir, I'm Detective Sebbins," he said calmly. "Did the, werewolf say anything to you?" The guard, his voice trembling, whispered hoarsely, "It wasn't a werewolf. It was a girl. She turned into a werewolf." His eyes darted around, filled with confusion and fear. As Sebbins walked beside the stretcher, questioning him further, the medical team prepared to lift the guard into the ambulance. But before they could, the man began to convulse violently. His breathing turned guttural, his eyes glowing an unnatural yellow. Horrified onlookers backed away, as coarse fur began sprouting across his skin, his teeth elongating into fangs. The stretcher straps tore like paper as his body grew and twisted. Within seconds, the once human guard stood tall and monstrous, a snarling werewolf howling under the flashing lights. The crowd screamed and scattered. Officers raised their weapons, shouting orders, but the beast roared and leapt down from the stretcher, sending people flying in panic. News crews that had arrived to cover the robbery instantly swung their cameras toward the chaos, broadcasting the transformation live across every major network in the city. Across town, in her dimly lit hideout, Janine stared in horror at the TV screen. The image of the transformed guard filled the broadcast. Her werewolf mask's power had somehow infected him. Her heart sank. She realized she had made a terrible mistake. Now, if she didn't act fast, the city would be overrun, not just by fear, but by real monsters. To be continued. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this dark and thrilling Halloween special. If you like this spooky adventure, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next chilling story. Drop a comment below and tell us, what did you think of Hallows Eve's transformation? Until next time, stay spooky, stay safe, and we'll see you soon in the next video.